Welcome back to Passionate About Music Education, a channel dedicated to music educators like you. I'm Rachel Hardman, and today I'm going to share my Friday 5 top tips to help you improve your sleep. Let's be honest, we've all stayed up late on a school night. We've put a new series on Netflix, started at about 9 o'clock, got into the first episode, then the second, and before you know it, we're 5 episodes in and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And we've got up the next day with a little less sleep than we normally should have, and we've been fine. But 2 days later, we're grumpy, we're tired, we haven't caught up on our sleep, and we sort of a bit more snappy, because that's what happens. It's not what you do today, it's how it'll impact you in 3 days' time. So however much we want to, still burn that midnight oil and stay up late like we did when we were young, when we were educators, when we're teachers, the truth is we still need our 8 hours sleep. So my tip number 1 is to have a consistent bedtime, a time that you go up each night that allows you to have that 8 hours of sleep. Even if you don't always go to sleep straight away, but your body has that routine, so you allow yourself that time for the rest that you need, particularly as we get nearer the end of a school term where more and more work piles up, reports are added, concerts are added, and you'll get tired. My second tip for Friday is turn the emails and computers off and schoolwork off at least 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. However much you want to stay up and finish work, the problem is your brain doesn't turn off. We say this to our students, but we're so not good at doing it ourselves. We're telling them not to stay up late doing their homework, but we're guilty of doing exactly the same. So again, if you want to improve your rest, you want to feel happier, healthier self, make sure that you are, if your bedtime is at 10 o'clock, that you are not doing any work after 8 o'clock, so that you give your brain a chance to de-stress, to relax, to think about other things than work. Tip number 3, turn the school emails off, turn those notifications off. Do not check your WhatsApp school group in the evening, particularly 2 or 3 hours before we're going to bed. We all want to make sure that we've got a clear inbox the next morning, or we want to know what's coming up for tomorrow. But do you really need to know that at 9:30? Do you need to see that problem email before you go to bed so that you start thinking about it and create some anxiety and worry? Do you really need to bring that stress into your life? Do you need to see that deadline your admin person has just given you literally at 9 o'clock at night for the next morning at 8:30? No, of course not, because a lot of these deadlines, a lot of these emails, a lot of this stress is other people's deadlines, yet we absorb them into us that we must get them done, and it becomes then stressful for us that we don't really need. So really make sure that you're aware of turning your emails off. If you have it come into your personal phone, again, turn those notifications off, and especially if you have one of these smart watches where your emails ping to your watch. I had a colleague who constantly was looking at it all the time and getting really stressed every time a new notification came through, and it was like, you don't need to have it on all the time. You don't need to be checking your work emails constantly, because they're other people's timelines and deadlines, not yours, and they will get in the way of you achieving what you need to do for the day, so that your list of to-do list becomes lower and lower, and their to-do list gets done because you're actually dealing with that first rather than your own to-do list. This creates more stress. So turn the emails off, don't be checking them late at night, turn all first thing in the morning, turn those notifications off, and give yourself space to relax, be present in the moment, be present with your family and friends, so that you turn up to work fresh. Tip number 4 is that opportunity to decompose and de-stress from the busy work life that we all live. So again, it's this self-care piece. Before you go to bed, in that maybe 1 or 2 hours, are you watching some relaxing telly? Are you going to have a nice shower and a bubble bath? Are you reading a book? Are you listening to some calm music or some meditation music? Do you do meditation? What do you do for you to help you unpack and get rid of the stress from your body? Not just the mind, but from your body. We carry stress all the time in our body, in the way we breathe, the way we hold our shoulders, and you need to find ways to have good sleep by getting rid of some of that stress and letting it out of your body. So what self-care are you doing for yourself on a daily basis in the evening? And make sure you schedule it in. Make sure you schedule that time in. You deserve it. You're worthy enough. You're good enough. You've been serving everybody else all day. You've been serving your children at school, your colleagues, your family, your friends. So what are you doing to serve yourself? You are equally as important. If your cup is not full, you're no good to anybody. So make sure you schedule time for yourself. Tip 5, my final tip for you on a Friday, is to spend a little time before going to bed being grateful. Really just, look at the wins of the day. Who did you serve well? What did go well? What were the joy moments? Not just in your job, but in your whole life. Were you a good friend? Were you a good husband or a wife? Were you a good parent to your children? Did you help somebody? Did you do a kind act? Really celebrate those small wins, because you've probably done a huge amount of wonderful things today, but have you really celebrated them? Or have you only really focused on the things that you haven't achieved? You didn't do quite so well. That the lesson didn't go quite so brilliantly. Because we do. It's natural. When we're tired and exhausted and stressed and in a negative mindset, we beat ourselves up unnecessarily. So I hope you're not doing this, my friend. And if you are, stop. You are serving people. You are helping people all the time. Take time each day to really reflect on that gratitude piece. What have you done? What you're grateful for? What's gone really well? But who have you served? What successes, wins have you done? And we all think that there should be massive things like our big concerts, but actually, do you know what? If you helped a student today understand something about music education, that's a win. If you helped a colleague who was stuck at the photocopier and everything was jammed and you helped them photocopy double-sided and stapled, that was a win. You helped somebody, you served other people. So don't always think it has to be those huge, great, big, life-changing moments. There are small moments of joy, of gratitude, of service that you do where you've helped other people, where you should celebrate your wins. So they're my top 5 for a Friday for you to improve your sleep, to feel a healthier and happier version of yourself. And I hope to see you here again soon on Passionate About Music Education.